Hello, my name is Rosalind Gowans, and this is my developmental autobiography. So, this is high school. I went to basically just hopping right in. I went to a predominantly white high school, and those were my friends. I didn't get along with girls that looked like me. They didn't like me. They said I spoke like a white girl. So I identified with white women. I hung out with white women, except for the woman on my right. She was my best friend. She was my best friend since Girl Scouts, so since third or fourth grade. Um, and also, the middle picture is me winning Miss Riverside. I was the first black and the only black so far to win the pageant, and it was just a really good moment for me. And I learned a lot in high school. So after high school, I knew that the next step was college. I knew that because of my parents telling me. Everyone else talked about it in high school as that is the next step. And it was the popular thing to do. So that's what I did next. Fast forward to freshman year of college, I went to University of South Carolina Upstate, and I really enjoyed myself a little too much, I would say. It almost seemed like a HBCU because it was a lot of blacks, so it was like night and day from high school to college, and I started hanging out with black people for the first time, and I fit in, and I cheered, and my focus was cheering, tumbling, and partying. So I did really bad my freshman year. I think I got away from home, and I had the freedom that I never had because I had strict parents, and I kind of got out of control and didn't do well in school. So then I took a break. I did more partying. I didn't go back to school the next year. I took a break. I did a lot of partying. I worked a lot. I moved back to Greenville, South Carolina, and got my own place and just, worked on day to day. Not really happy, but just kind of living life. After that, I transferred to Western Carolina University, and long story short, I knew of the university from my high school, and I knew they had a good criminal justice major and department, so that's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to go out and save the world and be a criminal justice major and somehow impact the lives that were similar to mine growing up. And it was kind of a culture shock because I went from USC Upstate, a really heavy black school, to a PWI. And PWI, I tried to make friends when I first got here with white people because that's what was easy for me before. And I did not fit in with white people. They wouldn't call me back. They wouldn't hang out with me. So I eventually pledged Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. And I knew this was a sorority I was going to pledge years and years ago. And I gained 11 beautiful line sisters, as you see in the picture. Basically, this is when I started networking. This is when I started meeting people that looked like me and meeting people that worked in student affairs. So I met Takese Davis, and I would say she kind of helped me with developing. I didn't meet her actually until my senior year, and I needed her way before that. But she was my first person that I met in college that helped me develop as a student and as a professional, or a student going into being a professional. And basically, I learned a lot from her. I learned relationship advice. I got relationship advice from her. I got school advice. I got everything under the sun that you can really think of. And this made me start thinking about my future. It made me start thinking, wow, what can I do to be kind of like her for other students on different campuses? Because I wasn't really ready to leave college. So then there's graduation. I graduated. I was really happy. The best day of my life. One of the best days of my life. And I was happy because I made it. I made it through being homeless while being at Western, long story short. I met new people. I had line sisters. I was really just in a good place. And I was really in a positive place from where I had been before. I lived in my car while at Western. I didn't really have much support. So I left. I or I didn't leave, but I graduated, and then I became a case manager at a domestic violence shelter in Asheville, North Carolina. And I loved my job. It was a lot because I worked with women and children that lived in a shelter, and it was hard. It was rewarding, but it was really hard and tearing on my heart. So I knew I couldn't do that for a long time, and it didn't pay too well. So I knew that wasn't my calling, but I did well at it, and it was something that came easy and something I enjoyed while I was there. But I always knew in the back of my head that I needed to do something more. So I went into student affairs because I stayed in touch with Takis. I talked to her about it. I talked to her about what it looks like and what she is for students. And I sat back and what she was for students and how she developed students and how she helped develop me, how she helped me make connections and talk to people that looked like me, and be able to know how to get through difficult situations with relationships and everything. So yeah, I graduated and then I applied to the HESA program, and thank God I got in. That's it.